Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Dave Gutschall, part of our industrial IoT sales team focused on manufacturing for Americas. With us is Face Daira, one of our esteemed technical solutions architects, also covering manufacturing. And today we are here to talk to you about the importance of visibility, management, and segmentation for your industrial manufacturing network. And I've been covering manufacturing for a very long time. And the bottom line is different stakeholders have different careabouts. Whether you're in the process space or the IT space or the security space, you have different careabouts, different things that matter to you. So on the process side, you want to reduce unplanned downtime. You want to get to root cause analysis fast. If you're on the IT side, you want to know how to segment those networks as easily and as cheaply as possible. How do I go ahead and do that without changing addressing? I have devices that have legacy addresses. I want to segment, but without changing those. And from a security standpoint, you want one rule set, one set of policies that apply to your enterprise network, your data center networks, those plant networks, and everything in between. And so with all of these different careabouts, we have to make sure that we align all of those stakeholder careabouts together to make sure ultimately you can be successful. And really, again, it starts with that importance of visibility. You have to begin with visibility. You can't secure what you can't see. You can't troubleshoot what went bump in the night unless you have that visibility to what changed. And from a security standpoint, it's key and part and parcel to everything, including how to even begin a segmentation project. And so today, we're going to be looking at the products that Cisco has to be able to help in all three of these areas and how they work together: DNA Center and Cybervision. And we're going to get right into the demo here. So Face, please take it away.
Let me now go through Cybervision. Cisco Cybervision is a solution to provide visibility about industrial assets. So here is the first view we have in Cybervision. And as you can see, I have multiple presets. So this preset is to define a view that you're interested to see, kind of a focus point. So maybe you're interested to have details about your top 10 vulnerabilities. A big concern from a lot of companies is how many of these Windows XP are still running, and a concern about vulnerabilities from these devices. We have specific industrial devices like Rockwell, Siemens devices. And then we have default ones like industrial OT assets, IT assets, and activities, industrial control process activities, IT activities. So you can really dig down in specific information with Cybervision. In my case, we're going to go with a simple one, what I call a simple plant design, and how we can view the data inside Cybervision. So when I click in a presets, this is for a specific location I have. I'm going to have a rescore for these devices, how many vulnerability I have from these devices. The number of devices here, it's a very small number, around 30 devices. So in Cybervision, I can actually have a view, an automatic mapping of the product about the assets. And that allows you to create your zone or group of assets. But that's the very challenge that a lot of customers have is, okay, I know a bit about my network. I have an Excel sheet about it, but knowing how they talk to each other, they don't really have this kind of information easily with Cybervision. What we have here is the ability to create zones, and I can quickly and easily create different subzones. So you see, for example, here I'm in a body shop. I have 3 different cells. If I have a device that is new and has been installed or moved, you can easily move it to an existing groups and assign it to the right zone. And this allows you to have a clear pictures about the different zone in your network without changing anything. We're not touching, we're not impacting production. We're making a clear picture about the different zone that you want to apply in the network. And as you can see, we can see that the building E is trying to reach the group or the zone I call lab. We can see devices from building E reaching the building B. So you see that you cannot have a relationship between the zone that you need to allow. And once you have this information, you're able to work on your policy about segmentation. And you're going to be able to work on it because Cybervision provides a lot of information about the devices, like what vulnerabilities, what kind of device you have. So once you know that you have a specific, this is an example, a FANUC robots, and you know that the firmware is quite old, there's a huge vulnerability that you cannot change or upgrade, you're going to think, okay, I have a huge vulnerability, a weakness here. I need to do some segmentation or restriction. So you're able to start to plan your segmentation and restriction. Okay, who needs to talk to this device? You can quickly have a view with Cybervision to see what device is actually reaching the robot and starting to create zones easily. So you see I have a building scene, a specific sub-level, but I can see that all the device that's this FANUC robots needs to talk is in this zone. And I can create this zone allowing me to make sure I've created the correct zone for my devices. And it's very interactive when you work on this different zone. So you see I can have multiple sub-level. So this will allow you to really have a clear organization of your device. The next thing we have in Cybervision is really getting the details about the device on the network. So we have an anomaly detection. Anything new or change can be seen. But what I really like in Cybervision is I'm looking at what is interesting for me. Important for me is monitoring the Windows XP machine. They are end of life. There's a lot of attacks that will be used by it. My Siemens devices that are the PLC, I want to monitor any change when any new activities. And you can quickly see this information a lot of OT engineer are interesting to know when a new device has been put on the network. And you get information about the firmware version, the model of a device that has been put on the network quite easily with the product. So you get this kind of alert. I can look about the Windows XP, like I said, there's a new Windows machine. I can really go in the details of what this machine is. It's a virtual machine, getting IP addresses, any information that the product has been able to collect from the activity in the network. So in terms of detection, what's really important about security in Cybervision is you have a network IDS to detect vulnerabilities. So we have the capability to detect attack with Snort IDS. Snort is a tool made by Cisco, Talos, and is included in Cybervision. You have activities that you can look at based on the type of event. So if I'm looking at my control process system, I can look at any program uploaded, any command that has been started in my control process. So you get really all the details about these devices and get to know what you need to do. So once you created this zone we're talking about and you have a good visibility about anything unusual, the next step what we see with a lot of customers is now I know my weaknesses, I know my network, I've designed a good organization of my asset. I'm interested to know about the unusual activities. And Cybervision has a great capability with what we call security insight. And what you're getting from Cybervision is all the unusual activities from the web traffic, from the network share, is going to give you this, oh, I see this request that I never seen before. That's the kind of thing you want to know. And once you know that maybe it's a concern or you want to address it, we have the tools with the ecosystem of Cisco, allowing you to do the next step. And this is with ICE, Identity Services, and especially applying this policy with DNA Center. So in Identity Services, the tool is fed by CyberVision. And what CyberVision is providing to ICE is the information what we see here about these different devices is going to provide the information about the name of a device, the property of a device, firmware version, the vendor. All this information are fed to ICE, and especially the group. Like this is building C, but inside the packing process in zone B in building A. So all this chain is fed to ICE. And what you do as the next step is CyberVision and ICE talk to each other. And inside ICE, what you're going to get is a profiling that is based on CyberVision. And you're going to be able to define a location, a zone based on this information. So you have to think of it as something very dynamic. Here I'm simply using the grouping that I have in CyberVision and applying them at a location, but you can make more complex policies. I want these devices in location 1 because it's a Rockwell device and it has the right firmware version. You can actually do that. I'm creating another zone based on the vendor or the protocol that the device is talking. So sometimes, you have so many vendors. What is interesting is all of them talk the same protocol. So usually they talk to each other. So you want to be able to create a profile with it. So once you created this profile and the logic inside ICE, the next step is defining how these different zones talk to each other. And this is really the job you have in DNA Center. So let me switch now to DNA Center. And what you get with DNA Center is really the capability of defining your policy. And I really like this view because it makes it more simple to define your policy of access inside DNA Center. As you can see, I have a different cell and I can define what the access are with the matrix of the different. So you always have a source and a destination. So you're able to say, my cell 1 is allowed to talk to itself, for example. It means that the device is in one, he can actually talk to another one, to each other, which makes sense. But then I can create the policy to define the access so I can deny cell 2 to talk to cell 1 because they're not supposed to. So this allows you to restrict the access, but secure it much better because now, even if something happening in cell 1, you're never going to impact cell 2. And that's not only that. You can quickly create a profile or zone for contractors or OEM working with you and allow them to just access specific asset. And you don't have to ask each time the user, please give me the IP address of this new device that maybe the contractor from Siemens needs to have access. What we can do is now CyberVision identify the device, feed ICE, and create the group. And you can say contractor A have access to only the Siemens devices and the Siemens zone. And that's it. You're adding more device, you don't have to change the policy. And that's really what the tool is made for, is really getting as much possible an easy way for admins to create these policies. Because it's always the most difficult thing about segmentation is defining the rules of what are the access. And what we've designed with CyberVision and all this access with DNSC and ICE is an easy way, a setup on policies based on rules that allows you to define easily these rules. Because it's always been the challenge. And what I like is I can set up CyberVision for 3 or 4 months and everything you've seen on 4 months, I can use this information to create my policies. I did not have to go through like some other scenario when you start with firewall and you do manually. You're gonna make mistake and maybe blocking something you was not supposed to. You cannot do that because cyber is 100% passive. It's just here to monitor the assets, and this information is used, allowing you to get this information. So anyway, to finish about in a conclusion, so we really want to enable the customer, and everything is linked. What I really like with this integration with DNSC is DNSC is the tool also to manage your switches and having the health of your switches, of the activity that you have inside the network. Cybervision is the tool monitoring your industrial devices and give you this visibility. And you can back to the same tool that you're managing the access, make it easier to really control the access inside the network. Because before that, all the control was mostly done at the gateway or what is going outside with the firewalls. Here we really have the capability to apply security at lower level. Back to you, David.
Face, thank you so much for that amazing demo. Just outstanding for you showing everyone how these products work together, and that it takes all of these products together to actually make things happen. But you always have to start with that visibility component. Again, going back to my previous lives, if I would have had the tool sets at Cisco back then to be able to do what we did, I would have been so much further ahead of the game. So, call to action for everyone out there. Take advantage of this current offer that we have on the table. 1 year of Cybervision and DNA Center on us if you purchase our industrial IE 3400 switches. This is a limited time offer. It will not be available forever. But please take us up on this. And then in addition, go out there, go to the link on the right, cisco.com/go/IoT manufacturing, and begin to explore not just what we talked about today, but other additional products and solutions that we have out there, because you want to safeguard what matters, right? Extend that DNA center management that you've come to understand and recognize and love from the IT space into the manufacturing space, and bring it together in that singular dashboard. So again, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. Have a wonderful day, morning, and evening.